Okay, this is going to be a quick, short little lesson. I'm going to call it Lecture 32 through 34, Part 3. And this is going to be graphing systems of equations. Okay, so on your guys' exam that you're going to take, they're going to ask you to solve something by substitution. They're going to ask you to solve something by elimination. And then after they do that, on one of those, they're going to ask you guys to prove your answer by graphing. Okay, so just a real quick review of how we would handle graphing systems of equations. Okay, our first step, we've got a 3x minus 2y equals 2 and a 5x minus 5y equals 10. Okay, now this is one that we just solved on the solving with elimination video. Okay, so they've asked me to graph this to prove my solution that I just found. Okay, so if I'm going to graph this, what I have here is I have a line and I have another line. And my solution is supposed to be when they intersect. So if I need to graph 3x minus 2y equals 2, then I just need to solve this for y. So my first step is going to be to subtract 3x to both sides. Then I get a negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 2. Then I need to divide everything by a negative 2. Just wrote a 3 there. Whoops. Divide that by a negative 2. Divide that by a negative 2. And I end up with y equals positive 3 halves x minus 1. Okay? So now I have something in slope-intercept form, and I can graph this. I've got a y-intercept at negative 1, and then I've got a slope of 3 over 2. So I could go up 3 and to the right 2, up 3 and to the right 2. Okay, or I could start at negative 1. I could go down 3 to the left 2. And down 3 to the left 2. Whoops, there we go. Okay, so there's one of my lines. Then I also need to graph my other line. So I'm going to need to graph 5x minus 5y equals 10. Okay? Again, subtract by 5x on both sides. That way it cancels over here. Now notice that's a negative 5y. I should have said this on that last one. A lot of people will forget that negative. That is a negative 5y. Don't forget your negative there. Equals negative 5x plus 10. Okay? Then I need to divide everything by negative 5. And that gives me a y equals a positive x. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 gives me a positive 1. And then I've got to take a positive 10 divided by a negative 5. Sorry, I forgot that negative there. Which gives me a negative 2. Okay? So, on this one, I've got a y-intercept at negative 2. And then I've got a slope of 1. So that would be a slope of 1 over 1. So I could go up 1 to the right 1, 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 1 to the right 1, and so on. Or I could go down 1 and to the left 1, down 1 and to the left 1, and look, it just intersected there, so that's good. Okay, then for our final answer, we'd want to draw a line between all these dots. So there's our blue line for our blue function, and then our red line for our red function. Got a little curvy there. Okay, and I can see that these two lines intersect at negative 2, negative 4, which means that my answer that I should have found should have been negative 2, negative 4. If you look back at your elimination video or your elimination notes, that is the answer that we found. So we were able to prove by graphing that negative 2, negative 4 was our solution. Okay? So when they ask you guys to prove it by graphing your solution, all you need to do is take each individual equation, get it into y equals form, and then graph both of those lines and find where they intersect. Okay?